Look at that. Oh yeah, baby. All right. It is St. Patrick's Day, and we're gonna make ourselves a nice corned beef and cabbage, the old-fashioned way. There's a lot of different ways and conjecture on how you do it. I do it the way my mother and my father taught me, who are both full-blood Irish, and we're just gonna stick with that method for now because it's tradition, and that's what I'm gonna do. Step one: grab yourself a Guinness and pour that bad boy. We got to get this thing going here. Got to make sure the head is rising while we get our situation going. So we're going to get, basically, you boil the corned beef for about 1 hour per pound. I believe my one is approximately 3 pounds here. Let me see here. 3.3 pounds. So about 3 hours. Usually what I do is I'll cook it in the water for a while, and then I will later cut it into more manageable pieces, because the corned beef and cabbage I make is not separate. It's not deconstructed. This thing is done as like a stew, where you actually have broth. The water becomes a broth. So it's almost like a soup, a thick hearty soup, with you got the potatoes in there, you got the cabbage in there, you got the carrots in there. Basically that's it, because the corned beef usually comes with the seasoning in the bag. So basically all you really have to do is put the meat in the water. Once that boils, towards the end you put in the potatoes and carrots, and then the very last minute you put in the cabbage, because if you overcook the cabbage, it sucks. You got to have crispy cabbage, and the only way to do that is to put it in the very last minute, not even heat on. You just let it sit there, and then it will absorb the moisture and the heat from the water. Because if you boil it and then you leave it there, this big old pot, it's going to turn your cabbage into mush, which sucks balls. We're not trying to suck balls here, are we? No, we're trying to sip pints. Cheers. So, get ourselves a pot. Make sure you guys are still in frame here, and we'll fill that up. Now, you basically, I cover the corned beef a good amount. A lot of people say you rinse the corned beef off. I don't. I particularly leave all the juice and the blood and everything in there. I feel that adds to the flavor of the broth. And that's the way I've been doing it since I were a wee lad. And I'm not going to stop now. So, if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself, as they say in Ireland. I'll even rinse the bag out and put a little bit of that extra in there. So that's me. If you don't like that, that's turning you off, then that's your deal. I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm just telling you how I do it. So nicely covered, more than covered, and I will start boiling it. Like I say, this will be the beginning. We will come back in about 3 hours, and then we'll start doing the vegetables and stuff. So, important step is the spice packet. Now, I didn't actually see the spice packet in there, and I was thinking if I was going to have to go to the store and buy some pickling spices. If they don't, it's like basically a pickle spice, dill and such. However, this does have it, and it's very important. You don't want to boil a bag in there. You make sure you have the spice packet and put the spice in there, because this spice is really what gives it that flavor. The pickling spice is awesome. So, don't have to be perfect. Like I say, these old school chunky Irish stew type things are, traditionally, Irish aren't like French cuisine chefs. Everything's kind of chunky. Meat, potatoes is a real deal. After the famine, the Irish were pretty happy to get whatever they got. So, we stick basically a lot of basic ingredients in Irish, if you could call it cuisine. Irish cooking has usually pretty simple ingredients, usually not too many things, mixed in crazy ways. Very elemental, if you will, cooking style. And yeah, I'll just get these cut up here, and you don't have to cut them in half. Like there's times when I cut like potatoes into like, you know, thirds, pretty much, big full-size potatoes. But some people like the big chunks, other people don't. I'm a chunky lover. I love the chunk, but that's just me. In a way, you know, you can get more flavor into the potato if they're a little smaller, but I want to make them too small because I still want to have a little something to bite into there. You know, I want to be mining for potatoes and get a decent chunk and not have them just blend away and become nothing in the soup. You know, I try to avoid that in almost all dishes I make. I'll attempt to have the ingredients still shining by themselves by virtue of their size. I'm not one to chop, you know, onions too fine or bell peppers. I like them, you know, chunky. So that's that. And there we go. We're getting close here to what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring out that corned beef brisket. You don't really need to worry about temperature, but you're gonna know when it's really soft and it's almost like shredded chicken, a vibe going on with it. So we've got our beautiful corned beef in here, and like I said, it has a lot of collagen and fat on the outside. So I will take some of that off. This is what you're dealing with here. You'll see inside it's a different story. I just put it on this plate just because I don't want to get juice all over the place. So I'll try to remove some of this just kind of fatty skin on there. It's not the best. In my poorer days, I used to just chop that up and I would eat that in there too, but I'm not that starving, as you can tell. I'm nutritionally sound these days. And I'm sure Frida is gonna like that, aren't you, Frida? Come here. Come here. Come here. Up. Up. Come on. Up. She's like, I don't see anything in your hand. I ain't jumping for that. Come on, Frida. Come on. You're gonna burn your tongue on that, right? Alright. There we go. Up. Up. Good girl. So Frida gets all that little kind of fluffy stuff. You know, it's just not the best part of the meat. It's still good, but you'll see. Let's take a look inside this bad boy here. Ooh, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see in there. That's the money shot right there. So that, if you see, without getting nice and red, and if we let this sit for a second, it will pull that redness up a wee bit. But what I'm basically going to do right now is get rid of all this kind of schmegma stuff, Frida treats, and I'm going to cut this into some smaller sections. That way, when you serve it, you'll be getting your individual sections, and also it kind of, you don't want to do this too early because you can take the flavor and juice will come out of the meat, but basically you can maintain the juiciness by having it cook in the large block at the end, and then continue cooking the last little bit. We'll add a little bit more flavor into the soup, but not too much to where we're losing our flavor from our corned beef. Now, corned beef has flavor for days. The food can be used for a lot. You can cut this up and make sandwiches right here and it'll be freaking dank, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to put our potatoes, carrots in. Right, I'm going to put those in there. Now those take about 30 minutes, but after about 20 minutes I'll probably put the cabbage in. I'll put the meat back in, I'll put the cabbage back in, and then we shall marry it all together with the cabbage getting as little cooking as possible. Still cooked, but not overcooked. That is the key. And then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Alright, we got that beautiful, lovely corned beef with the little fingerling potatoes. Very nice little carrots in there, ready for the cabbage. I'm going to just nip this little bottom out here because it's a little old there. And then I'm going to cut it in Yeah, I might do this in 6 actually. It's a really big. Ooh, it's boiling away. So that's all ready now. I checked to make sure the carrots are nice and tender. The potatoes are nice and tender. Like I said, this cabbage really does not need much cooking. That is how you will mess up. As long as you cook the corned beef long enough, it will be tender. And if it's not tender, you haven't cooked it long enough. And the only other thing you can really screw up is turning your cabbage to mush. I've been saying this a lot, and there's a reason. Do not turn your cabbage to mush. This is boiling, super boiling hot right now, and I'm just gonna drop my cabbage chunks in there. I like them kind of big. Yeah, you have to have enough water to put the cabbage in, you know, so kind of by eye. I should have, basically for the corned beef, you know, 3-pounder, I cover, the corned beef itself is about this tall, so I cover it about here. Then you put the, you know, the potatoes and stuff in there, and then that gives you enough water to be able to get your cabbage in there. Once it heats up, it will soften and it will all put together nicely. What I'm talking about. Oh yeah. See, that cabbage is just soft enough. Like I said, do not overcook that cabbage. You don't want slimy cabbage. Look at that. Oh yeah, baby. Of course, Frida wants a treat, huh? You want a treat? Come on, Frida. Get it. Get it. There you go. Beef and cabbage.